Good evening, welcome to Football-Oranje. We're reacting tonight to Montenegro 2, Netherlands 2. How frustrating was that? Let us know in the comments right now on YouTube and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. We've got lots of live comments coming in already to do with the performance, the players on the pitch, what could Van Gaal have done any better? Let us know and we'll get back to you. Of course, in classic Football-Oranje style, we'll be live taking your thoughts and we'll be sharing ours too on the game. And as well, in typical Netherlands fashion, we want to do it the hard way. Tonight's result means that it will all come down to Tuesday against Norway, with that result being ever so important to simply getting to the World Cup. It would be a travesty not to make it. And that's why tonight was so frustrating, with the Netherlands 2 goals up, but throwing it away in the last 10 minutes. I'm Michael Statham. Tonight I'm with Jeroen Thijssen, who's been on Football-Oranje a fair bit in the past, scattered around throughout the years. And he's on tonight to give his thoughts on the game. Jeroen, what did you think, first of all?
Let me start off with a big sigh. Thanks for having me. I have my song ready. Venga Boys fashion. Hey, we're going to the World Cup, but no, we're not. Well, not yet. But dreadful. I mean, it was a terrible game. I hope that we can be a little bit more exciting with our podcast. Not sure if that's going to be a very ambitious goal, but let's try. Actually, we should be able to. I mean, not a nice game to watch. But okay, you get a 2-0 lead, which is fine. Dutch people happy. Nothing to complain about. Plain sailing. Poor game. I actually think Montenegro were not that bad. Definitely deserved a draw, and they did.
Wow.
But if you're 2-0 up after 82 minutes, then it's pretty much unforgivable to give away that lead. It's just shocking.
Yeah, I agree with what you said there, just at the end, where you can't afford to do that for obvious reasons. That the World Cup qualification was in sight. Were they a little cocky with that lead? I don't know. Did Van Gaal make the right substitutions? He made 4, didn't he? And then the goals went in. Was it those players that caused that, or was Van Gaal trying to keep it fresh that it didn't end up in that situation? That's an interesting thought. I think with regards to the game itself, I thought the Netherlands weren't great, but I did think Montenegro were poorer. I disagree with the sentiment that I think they deserved a draw tonight, but that doesn't mean the Netherlands deserved to win 3 or 4-0 because. Yeah, they were pretty poor. The game as a whole was crap for those 4 goals, but that didn't really say a lot about it. It's great to see Memphis on the score sheet again twice, but I'm not. I don't think I'm wholly impressed again with the performance. Maybe it was just one of those where they turned up to a different country and they wanted to just get the result and walk away. But I have to ask you, what did you think of the substitutions? Was that potentially Van Gaal's fault tonight that it didn't go so well?
Mm-hmm. Well, just talking about the substitutions now, I do think in the back of his mind, okay, we are 2-0 up. We are controlling the match. This really can't go wrong. That's I'm sure that is in the back of everybody's mind, and the substitutions he made, I don't think they were necessarily wrong. I mean, the first one was actually good, replacing Malen for Bergwijn, which was a fine substitution. Malen was dreadful. Bergwijn, well, he was a little bit more of a threat, but I think we need to look at the other substitutions. Although Wijnaldum was possibly the worst player on the pitch, so his substitution was okay. Frankie de Jong for Koopmeiners was one of those subs. All right, Frankie, let him rest for a couple minutes and let's give Koopmeiners a chance. And then the 2-1 was just a complete mess, and I think Koopmeiners was caught sleeping. De Vrij as well. Bijlo wasn't good at with the first goal, but I think Koopmeiners should have responded quicker, and he should have prevented the 2-1. And
I want to get your thoughts about that Frankie de Jong when his substitution came around. When he knew he was coming off, he looked frustrated.
Yeah.
And I couldn't tell whether it was because he didn't want to come off or because he did really want to come off, but the referee played the game on and he had to wait till the next break in play. For me, I thought it was the latter, not the former. I thought that he wants to come off the pitch. He looked exhausted, wasn't playing well again in a Netherlands shirt. And to me, I thought it was that. I didn't think it was because he wants to stay on the pitch. What did you think of that?
Yeah, it could be. I definitely, I agree. I noticed his frustration. Initially, I thought, does he actually want to go off, or is he angry that he is going to be substituted? But then Koopmeiners was waiting for something like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Gravenberg came on for Frankie. He was waiting for 2 or 3 minutes.
Of course.
And I think he said something to the referee or the linesman, get on with it. That's the impression that I had. And I agree. Frankie was not so bad this game. He was okay.
You just expect more, don't you, from him now?
Yeah, but he had a couple of decent interceptions. He had a couple of good through passes. There was a one Danjuma opportunity which was offside and it was just wide, but that was a good pass. Although it was offside, but it was a good pass. But he's not been good at all this season, and they're important games, so you kind of want to play him, but. Again, in a game against Luxembourg, I would have just benched him. Like, you know what, just don't want to see you play. Just take it easy, and we'll let someone else play.
It's time to bring in some of the comments because so many are coming in, and I'm sorry if I don't show them on screen. There may not be time, but I've got a few tonight just of pure emotion right now. Jack saying that Van Gaal makes him feel sick. Remember the 2002 World Cup failure with a roster of world-class players. I've never forgotten, I'll never forgive that arrogant Van Gaal. Another one from LBNZ Kid. What a debacle. Latvia gives them a gift and they choke on it last minute. Let's find some more. I think this comment, they referred to Danny Blint a couple of times. Danny Blint is with one of the coaches, and yeah, he hasn't been playing for the Netherlands in the last 3 years. That's Daley Blint. But yeah, he was beaten for that cross way too easily. For me, like he couldn't even jump. Was it because he's been held down? I mean, like, you're a pro. You gotta make an effort.
Yeah, I'm looking at it in the replay. That must be a foul. That must be a foul. No, it's not a foul. He's not really doing anything, and Blint is just standing still. What is going on here? You want it to be a foul, and then
you did. Yeah, you thought first what it might have been.
I have to check it with the VAR, but no, nothing. It was just it was just stupid.
Masali Dose said wasted, frustrated. Let's win it against Norway. I like your positivity. The whole 18 minutes we kept possession. The last 10 minutes we went forward. What the hell? Yeah, they didn't. The Montenegro didn't start breaking down with the last 10 minutes to go. They went for the point because they wanted to still get a result.
Yeah.
Jack then elaborates further. Stop playing Blint and Klaassen or full match. Klaassen's on the bench at the minute for Ajax, brings nothing creative into midfield. Blint's been called an unathletic slug. Memphis gets lazy and sloppy too. Gravenberg comes in and strolls around and he's physically weak. Needs attitude adjustment quickly. Wow. I'll get some different people that have made some comments too. Daley Blint is not. Is that a 4-3-3 material? 4-3-3 material anymore?
4-3-3 or 4 in the back, 3 in the back.
Yeah,
perhaps.
Dave was disappointed because there weren't many shots. I don't think the Netherlands created much all night. They had less shots than Montenegro, I think they did. Yeah. Despite having how much possession? Something like 73%?
It was, I'm not sure, but I think it was around 70% in the first half. Second half can't have been that much different. But I mean, if you look at the chances, it was pretty much even.
Particularly in the first half, there were more chances it seemed then. Apart from that, those last 10 minutes, there was the possibly a penalty that could have been given against Dumfries. The ref was sympathetic.
Yeah. uh, I was going to say with a 2-0 win or a 2-1 win, I think we could have applauded the referee and called him El Hero Grande, but because that Klaassen penalty, that was ridiculous. That was the one. Well, he had a couple of okay passes, but I mean Klaassen was not good. But the penalty that he got us, it was ridiculous. There was nothing going on, and we got a penalty. So we were very, very fortunate. I wouldn't have given the Dumfries penalty either, but I hate handball penalties, so I wouldn't have given it. But I've seen penalties given for less. I wouldn't have given it, but if you give a penalty to Klaassen, you can give a penalty for the Dumfries incident.
Two soft ones maybe.
Yeah.
And Barlow made a good save as well before half time. Just keeping them, with that lead that they'd got. And the second goal that the Netherlands scored was actually a pretty poor attack. I don't know if you remember the counter attack.
Yeah,
they lost possession about three times and still managed to get across in the box.
Yeah. And Noah Lang, no, was it Noah?
Dumfries put the cross in for Memphis.
Groene Danjuma crossed him a little bit half in between two or three players. Somehow it got to Dumfries. He passes it to Depay, and it was all a bit. But Depay finished really, really lovely.
And is it 11 goals in 9 World qualifying matches now? He's still on fire, Memphis. As one positive to take from the game, he scored another 2 goals.
He scored 2 goals, yeah. You can't blame Memphis on this game.
No.
Does he get a little bit lazy? Maybe, but he's the striker. Do you want him to sit back in the own penalty area and defend? No, maybe he could have done a little bit more, but you can't really put the blame on.
When you think about some of the other players in those last 10 minutes, and then think of Memphis' performance, I don't think he's the one.
If I look at what Koopmeiners was doing, Gravenberg was unfortunate. Although I do think that he tried, but he had a couple of those heel flicks in midfield. I'm like, what are you doing?
You're not 4, 5, 6-0 up. You're 2-0 up, and you're trying to get a World Cup qualifying ticket. Yeah, bit of naivety there. Go ahead.
You could definitely mention, or you could definitely notice that some players were really thinking, okay, we're 2-1 up, a bit tricky. Let's try and play it out. And then a couple of players were like, okay, if we score the 3-1, then we can finish the game. There was no cohesion, and it's the harshly put, it's the Dutch arrogance disease.
Yeah. No,
because Montenegro. I mean, they were battling. It was it was Wolovic, and it was Batilovic, and it was Krajovic with every little foul. But I mean, they gave it their heart.
Great. John says it was totally preventable that, and not the match substitutions, just to give people experience, and not the match for Hamburg doing those little flicks like you said. Krish says, how long will Blink continue to play? His fault with the second goal. Hamza says, we're fortunate that Haaland is out injured, otherwise we'll be even more worried. We should beat Norway, but empty stadium might go against us. Yeah, that seems to come at the wrong time. Of course, health has to come first, but my personal opinion is I disagree with people not being in the stadiums, but yeah, I think people can debate that in a different podcast rather than a Dutch football one. Mash Work, that's a great name. The issue with midfield defending transitions. Wijnaldum and Klaassen were pudding right up, leaving De Jong alone in midfield, and Blind wasn't inverted to control that space. Shape was just wrong. You're doing with your Football Manager head on. What do you make of that tactical analysis right there?
I think it was what I noticed in the beginning of the first half. It was trying to break through, and on offense it looked all right. I mean, there wasn't a lot of chance creation, but you can see that they were alternating tactics. 3 at the back, Blind playing a wide centre back kind of role, and then pushing forward almost like a left winger, with Malen coming to the mid to the centre, and even Groeneveld. But then in defense, half the time Indeed, I think Mash or Mr. Work is actually quite astute with that, where especially maybe not so much the attackers, but the midfielders were um, on two thoughts. Is that the correct term?
Oh,
Like
what? Sorry.
like they weren't sure whether they were supposed to defend or were like, okay, if we retain possession, then we can quickly attack. I think they were mixing that up. So Frankie was playing in an unspectacular role. Wijnaldum was just absolutely dreadful, and
Didn't see him.
Klaassen was not good, but you could see with Klaassen he was trying a little bit more. He was trying some things offensively, but
Carson
yeah,
wanted some room and he just didn't have the space at all all evening. But it's up to him to try and make things different, make things work, and he didn't have the quality to do that.
yeah.
It's almost like he's too suited to play for Ajax and not this Netherlands side sometimes.
It's funny with the with the Turkey game. It's also on the podcast that you guys were doing.
Yeah,
One of the mentions was what Klaassen is like reborn, and he was running and running, and he's so
he
fast, and he's
was.
doing
He was
everything.
excellent.
And here he was just incredibly unspectacular.
No, not good enough.
Not good enough. No.
Someone's having a bit of a rant here. Dodival says that this team has no leader. The only player that shows character is De Ligt. No one else. Why is Frimpong not on this team? He's been superb for a very good Leverkusen team. Dumfries set the goal up tonight. I can't think of something like in particular he did wrong defensively. He didn't stop the cross from the left back who was overlapping for the second goal. But I think you can look at Blintz and say there was an error from him there. Another one about the game on Tuesday, that without a crowd being in Rotterdam, it could get nasty. People talking about 2002 all over again, potentially. Hamza's got a stat here for Memphis: 16 goals in 2021. That's an excellent scoring record.
I mean, yeah, Memphis is well on the way to becoming the all-time Dutch leading international scorer. Don't have the numbers ready, but he's on his way.
Brilliant stuff.
He needs to score 6 every season for another 5, maybe 6 years, and then he'll be there.
Easily achievable.
Yeah.
Starting with 5 on Tuesday. And Linda's trying to change the tune of our mood here, that she can't wait for Norway to send Netherlands out of the way for qualification. Sorry.
Thanks, Linda. Yeah.
That's what Mark says. Would appreciate you clarifying the this is a perfect chance to bring this in. So would appreciate you clarifying the permutations for the last game. Someone in the chat said if we lose, we wouldn't be able to get the second place. Would you like to clarify that first, Jeroen? What's going to happen? Because, of course, tonight, if they'd won, they would have gone through. But against Norway, they don't have to win, do they? They can draw and go through, correct?
Yeah, I mean, if we had won tonight, then we would have been we would have qualified, and the World Cup would have been 100% certain. Now it's not. So we face Norway at home. I'm not that depressed about it. I mean, I'm not happy, but we should beat Norway. But then again, we should have beaten Montenegro. You never know. At least there's no Haaland, so that is something. But we are facing Norway at home, so that is generally an advantage. And Turkey face Montenegro away. And Montenegro is not going to be a walkover, but Turkey must win. And I think if Turkey win and we draw, then we're second.
Yeah, the problem is that it could end up being third and missing out entirely if
we
Norway
lose
win and Turkey
to Norway
win.
and Turkey win, then we are third. Yep,
that's scary.
And then we're done.
Yeah, and we're back to square one where we thought the Netherlands had to have a revival to get back to where they were. Koeman leaves, De Boer comes in, makes things an awful lot worse. Then Van Gaal's playing like this fixing job, and has he still got it after all these years away from the job? Tuesday's massive. It couldn't be bigger.
No, it's do or die.
May says
we're in another final, and we love winning our finals, don't we?
May says, can we talk about Bergwijn? I don't think he should have been picked. Van Gaal should have given El Ghazi or someone else a chance. every time I see someone suggest El Ghazi, I have to say I disagree. I'm an Aston Villa fan. I watch El Ghazi play every weekend when he actually even plays. He's not good enough for the Netherlands. He really isn't. He plays on the left. He has a good game every now and again. He had a decent run of games, I think, last season. But the guy, I like him. He's worked really hard to develop to where he is now, from playing in the Championship to playing sometimes in the Premier League. He doesn't have it. He doesn't have the all-round game. He doesn't have a consistency. So you can't put El Ghazi inside. Bergwijn is better, but isn't playing enough for Spurs. So I can see the problem on the wings. It's like this team is crying out for a player to just storm through the Eredivisie in the next year and be an informed player ready for the World Cup if they can get there. And there isn't that at the minute. Berghuis, hot and cold for Ajax, and then the national team too. It seems to be a level above him, I think, sometimes. So, don't know. What do you think you're doing on that?
Yes, Berghuis is now playing more like a 10 at Ajax, although he can play on the right wing. Bergwijn, not that particularly impressed by him either. Although his substitution was okay, he was causing a threat, which was already something in this game. He did more than Malen, for example. But the wingers are a problem. El Ghazi, I don't think he's good enough either. I wouldn't mind if he gets picked, but it's all of these players. I thought Danjuma, Groeneveld.
Yeah, we need to talk about him, by the way. I thought he was good tonight.
He was a threat. He wasn't great, but he was a threat. No. He had the 2 shots which was just wide. It was okay, fair enough. But if you're going to leave out Berghuis, if you're going to leave out Bergwijn, if you're going to leave out Noah Lang, who are you going to put in? El Ghazi, you have Gakpo. Who else is there? Stengs. They're all not great. It's not really going to make that much of a difference. None of those players are going to set the world alight.
Even Cody Gakpo, who has actually looked pretty good at times. Maybe. Yeah, he's got a year to try and develop further, hasn't he? But I can see a point that it's. But not
I think he's pure for the left side.
Yeah, and then on the right, you've still got the same problem because they're all left wingers. The striker situation sorted from a few years back though, because Memphis Depay was touted to play as a striker, and Koeman did that, and he's really doing well. So there's something just might come out of nowhere that you don't expect. Most of the positions seem quite settled, and yet they're still having problems. The Dutch, like the way they threw the win tonight, it shows that this team isn't the one that will go to the World Cup. That if they're going to do well, they have to still make some changes. There still needs to be something new from Van Gaal or from the players themselves, because I know it's 10 minutes of football, but it means a lot, because they should have just seen that out. And it's not as if it's been the first time under Van Gaal where it's been a little bit flat, a little bit stale. I might just get a bit negative here. Like I know sometimes when you read the room, some of the comments tonight have been quite negative. But we've gone from beating Turkey 6-1 and being amazing to this.
Yeah. Yeah, and it should have been a bland, formal victory where you play safe football. You're 2-0 up. Van Gaal could have even taken off the bye and put a controlling midfielder on. It's not,
or even
something.
Go 5 at the back.
Yeah, why not? Why not? I mean, would have been a strange move, because that's not something that most Dutch managers, and especially not Van Gaal, does. But could have gone for that. But I mean, on the other hand,
we're playing captain hindsight, aren't we? Because if you had put on another centre back to try and mark that tall striker that David Blind had on his shoulder,
that's true.
You know,
on the other hand, the players should have sorted it out. Regardless. But I mean, if you look at the squad, I mean, the squad today is more or less the expected lineup for the World Cup.
Does that concern you?
Yeah, and it concerns me that we don't have that many better options. Just aren't. I mean, Bijlo is quite likely going to be the first goalkeeper. Okay, that's fine. He didn't have a
Yeah,
great game
happy with
today.
him.
Okay, can happen. It's fine. That's not a concern. Virgil van Dijk, Stefan de Vrij, or Matthijs de Ligt is centre pair. It's fine. Dumfries is fine. Blind. I like Blind in his build-up play. His passing, his vision is fine, but yeah, defensively, I thought he was okay for most of the match, but he had 2 or 3 absolute stinkers. So that is a problem. Who are you going to put on? Wijndal is not in good form, although maybe there's still time. Ake, Van Aanholt. So doesn't particularly excite me.
No.
Frankie de Jong should be phenomenal, is not in form. Wijnaldum should be fine, is not in form. And then you've got your whole bunch of midfielders, Klaassen, Gravenberg, Berghuis, shall we mention Van de Beek? I mean, they're all not in shape. The Depay is fantastic, but where would we now be without the Depay? You want to put Weghorst on? I love Weghorst, but he's not producing for the Dutch team. And then you've got your whole bunch of wingers that are just not really that good. Noah Lund can have a good game. Gakpo can have a good game. Danjuma can have a good game. But they will have 1, maybe 2 good games at the World Cup, and then I don't see them performing well from the first group game until the final. Would we make it?
Fair enough, fair assessment. So I mean, looking ahead to Tuesday to wrap up this podcast, what do you see happening? Do you think that it'll be a disaster? Do you think Van Gaal is going to play a really tight ship, or do you think that he gives the players the confidence to go for it, and they do some similarly attacking football to what we saw against Turkey? The fans are going to be a miss, but the game has such magnitude that the players need to see around it.
Yeah. I hope there will be some kind of miracle thing coming from the government, where they will say, "Oh, you know what? We'll let 10,000 people in." No, I think Van Gaal will stick to what we've been doing. So I don't expect any tactical changes. Might be a little bit slightly more reserved approach, but he'll play a similar kind of style. We'll have to see what's up with Stefan de Vrij, because he was injured. De Ligt coming on because of the injury. So at this moment, no idea if he'll play, but then he'll put De Ligt in instead of de Vrij. He might drop Malen for Bergwijn. And yeah, that will probably be all. I don't see him replacing Wijnaldum. Maybe he'll start Gravenberg for Klaassen, but that wouldn't really make that much sense either. So probably just de Vrij, De Ligt, and possibly Malen out for Bergwijn. And we'll probably see more of the same.
Yeah,
but I don't expect Norway to be fantastic, but it can go any way. I mean, Norway aren't bad. They're not great. They're not in great shape, but neither are we, I guess. So
I think the key question is are they going to be with or without their star striker? How certain is that?
I think Haaland's out.
Yeah, well, that would be obviously very good news.
Yeah.
But
although the last game that he did play for Norway against Holland, he wasn't very spectacular. But yeah, I mean,
should have scored though.
Yeah, but and the thing is, Montenegro were without, I think, 3 of their star players: Jovetic, and Brozovic, and one more. So yeah.
Well, I'm going to ask a couple of questions before we finish the podcast. Someone has, John has asked about Weghorst. He guesses the experiment is over. Are there any more forwards available? No.
I mean, Weghorst is a different. I don't think he fits the system, but he's still.
So he never plays.
I mean, Weghorst is he can still stir things up, to say it nicely. I mean, he's not really featuring for Van Gaal, but also because the Depay is just fantastic. But if he wants to play some kind of a 4-4-2 kind of thing, he did push Malen into the center. We saw in the first half, Malen was playing like a half striker, half right winger.
Yeah, that interests me because the players are there to do 2 strikers.
Yep.
And there's lots of midfield options, and they don't really fit. So can Van Gaal figure out like a 4-4-2? Yeah, with the same back four, but a dynamic midfield. Like it could even be a diamond, with the fullbacks pushed on. You're kind of experimenting into what De Boer was doing though in the Euros, where he had the fullbacks pushed up really high, and
we have Dumfries all over the place, and then Blind somewhat similarly, but Blind just lacks the pace. I mean, he's a good passer, but or you have Wijndal, or you have other options at left back, maybe, but then you have the very very forward pushing wing backs. You could play 4-4-2, but then it would be Depay and Weghorst. And we did see that a couple of times, which did not really work. And are there any alternatives? Luc de Jong doesn't really excite me. But that is pretty much it at the moment.
Fair point.
Gakpo, maybe.
Yeah, possibly. But he's still.
I don't think he's a clinical. Position. He's not a clinical finisher.
No. Well, last couple of things. Linda says, thanks to great aftermath chat. Go Norway Tuesday. Oh dear. Wrong crowd. And Mark says, thanks again for the clarification. By the way, it's Canadian. You can tell by my name, Dutch descent. Yeah, of course, we're here for everyone who wants to talk about Dutch football in the English language. You could be Dutch and speak a bit of English, or you could just be from all over the world and want coverage in your language rather than Dutch. And of course, we're here to do that. So if you are new, do subscribe to Football-Oranje and go and check out the website where there's lots more content, and there'll be a player rating to Mike really soon on there. And if you enjoyed this one tonight, this match reaction, please do give it a like. And if you don't know who Jeroen is, do check out his Twitter handle. I'll put it in the description on YouTube. And he's done a video on here very, very recently, one of the most recent ones, where we looked at some Dutch Eredivisie, Dutch Keukenkampioen Divisie Wonder Kids that you can get on the new game Football Manager 2022, because that's what you do, isn't it, Jeroen?
Yeah, I'm the head of Dutch and co-German research for Football Manager. Football Manager 22 has just been released on the 9th of November. Check it out. And and as Mike just said, we did a piece on the Dutch Wonder Kids, and Noni Madueke, who's not Dutch, and a few interesting players from the second tier Keukenkampioen Divisie.
And we've got the last few people just sort of saying thanks for this evening. Thank you, John. Thanks for your comment. And we'll do a live podcast again on Tuesday. I think it might be Mike coming in for that one. Of course, you're welcome if you wish to join in too. And May says, dankjewel. And I'm going to say doei.
Dankjewel. Doei, everybody. Tot ziens.
Dag.